I raised my trembling hands above the dining table and stared at the two people I once loved more than my own heartbeat, my son, Ethan, and his wife, Marissa. Their eyes were cold, hungry, and calculating. Ethan leaned forward and said, as if discussing the weather, "Mom, we've decided you'll give us half your pension starting next month. You don't need it anymore." "We do," Marissa smirked, tapping her long, fake nails on the wooden table. "We're being generous, Lucy. You should be grateful we're even giving you a chance to help us. After all, you live alone, you're old, and you barely spend anything." My jaw tightened. Old. Alone. Barely spend anything. They thought they knew everything about me. They didn't know a damn thing. And they definitely didn't expect my answer, or the revenge I had been preparing quietly for years. Now let me tell you the whole story. In my own words, my name is Lucy Caldwell, and I am 75 years old. If life had taught me anything, it was that you could survive storms. But sometimes, the biggest storms were the ones born inside your own home. I spent 30 years teaching at an elementary school and raised my son alone after his father died when Ethan was only 7. I worked 2 jobs, skipped vacations, and ate soup for weeks so he could have shoes, books, and a childhood without feeling poor. I thought love would repay itself someday. But life isn't a fair cashier. It doesn't return change. For years, Ethan was a good boy, kind, grateful, and affectionate. He would hug me, kiss my forehead, and say, "Mom, someday I'll take care of you." I promise, but that was before Marissa entered his life. Marissa was, how should I put it nicely? Beautiful. Ambitious. Sharp, but behind her perfect teeth and Instagram-ready smiles, there was a hunger. A greed she didn't bother hiding. When Ethan married her, I tried my best to welcome her into our family. I bought her gifts, helped with wedding expenses, even loaned them money for the honeymoon. Loan, a word she interpreted as gift. Soon after the marriage, I noticed Ethan changing. He stopped visiting me. Stopped calling. Stopped caring. Marissa, on the other hand, loved to call, not to check on me, but to ask for money. "Could you spot us $300 for new curtains? We need help with groceries. Ethan and I are saving for a better car. We're thinking of renovating. Just small help, please, small help." Small. Small. But I was shrinking too, into someone easy to take from. Until one day, I decided to stop. When Marissa asked for $500 for her hair treatment, I politely said, "I'm sorry, dear. I can't." She froze. Her smile vanished. And I swear I could hear the click inside her brain. The hinge where manipulation transitions into resentment. That day was the beginning of a quiet war. But the battlefield wouldn't surface until years later. 3 months ago, I retired. After 4 decades of teaching, I finally allowed myself to breathe. My pension wasn't large, but it was enough to live a peaceful life: food, utilities, medicine, and a little something for treats like knitting supplies and weekend garden fairs. But somehow, Ethan and Marissa learned I had started receiving it. That's when the sudden family meeting invitation came. "We want to talk about your future, Mom," Ethan said over the phone. His tone was gentle. Too gentle. The softness predators use right before they bite. I arrived at their house with an uneasy feeling crawling through my spine. We sat at their huge oak dining table, the one I helped them buy with my savings 5 years earlier. Marissa set out tea and cookies, but not for me. She and Ethan ate while I watched. Ethan finally cleared his throat. "Mom. Marissa and I have been thinking. It's not fair that we're struggling financially while you're sitting comfortably on pension checks you don't even use." My heart nearly stopped. He continued, "So starting next month, we need half of it. It will help with the kids, bills, and keeping the house running," Marissa added with a shrug. "You live alone. You don't need that much money. And besides, we're your family. You should help us." Help. A word they had twisted into a knife. I folded my hands calmly. "And what if I say no?" Ethan looked offended, as if I had slapped him. Mom, don't make this harder. You owe us. We've been taking care of you, what care? I asked quietly. You barely visit me. He blinked rapidly. Marissa smirked. If you don't help us voluntarily, then we'll have to explore other ways to make sure your money is put to good use. Her threat hung in the air like poison. I looked into their eyes and realized something heartbreaking. My son didn't see me as a mother anymore. He saw me as a resource, an ATM with wrinkles. But they didn't know something important. They didn't know what I had already done. I wasn't the foolish old woman they assumed. After watching Ethan and Marissa's lifestyle for years, the shopping sprees, the vacations, the constant money problems, I knew eventually they would target my pension. So years earlier, I took steps to protect myself. I moved most of my savings and pension funds into a trust, held jointly with my late sister's 2 children, my beloved nieces, Emma and Claire. I also contacted a lawyer who specialized in elder financial abuse and had all my documents locked down. But the real revenge? That was still coming. Because I had been recording Marissa's manipulative messages for months. Every demand for money. Every veiled threat. Every insult. And the biggest card I held was something they could never predict. Ethan leaned closer. So, are you giving us half your pension or not? My hands stopped trembling. My heart finally steadied. My voice turned sharp as glass. No. Silence fell. Ethan's face went red. Marissa leaned back, laughing. You don't have a choice, Lucy. I stood up slowly. Oh, but I do. And as of today. So do you? I placed a brown envelope on the table. What's that? Ethan snapped. Something that concerns your future, I said. Marissa grabbed it and opened it. Inside were printed messages, screenshots, and audio transcripts. Her face drained of color. These are your words, I said calmly. Every time you threatened me, pressured me, demanded money. Everything. Ethan's chair screeched across the floor as he stood. Mom, you can't be serious. I am, I said. And so is my lawyer. Lawyer? Marissa squeaked. Yes. A lawyer who deals specifically with people like you. I smiled. People who financially exploit the elderly. Their mouths fell open. But that wasn't the end. Not even close. I reached into my purse and pulled out a blue folder. Inside was my will. I updated this 6 months ago, I said. Would you like to know what it says? Ethan swallowed hard. Mom. Don't do anything stupid. Oh, I'm not. I'm doing something smart. For the first time in years I looked straight at them. You are both removed from my will. Completely. Marissa gasped like she'd been stabbed. Ethan stammered. You cut us out? For what? A misunderstanding? No, I said softly. For years of using me. For years of greed. For today. Tears slid down his face. But guilt? No. He was crying for lost money, not a lost mother. I placed another document on the table. This house I live in. I'm transferring it into the trust too. You'll never touch any of it, Marissa exploded. You can't just cut us out. You owe us. Ethan is your only son, he was. And yet. He had already walked away from me long before this day. My voice trembled only once, but not from fear. From release. I owe you nothing. But you owe me respect. And since you refuse to give it, my money will go to people who actually love me. Ethan's voice cracked. We didn't mean to hurt you. We're struggling. I nodded. I know. But your struggle is not my responsibility. And if you ever try to pressure me again, I will take these recordings to court. Marissa glared. Everyone will think you're crazy. Maybe, I said with a smile. But the bank accounts won't. I walked toward the door. Before leaving, I turned back. Oh, and one more thing. They looked up, desperate, hopeful. I won't be visiting again. The next time you hear from me, it will be through my lawyer, Marissa shouted. You can't abandon your family. I gave a gentle, sad smile. My family abandoned me first, then I closed the door. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Word spread through the family faster than wildfire. Some supported me. Some called me heartless. But they weren't the ones being drained for years. Emma and Claire came over crying, hugging me so tightly I could barely breathe. They told me they were honored to be part of my trust. They fixed my garden, brought me meals, and stayed for long chats. Ethan tried calling me. 20 missed calls. I didn't answer any. Marissa tried messaging me. Every message started with, "We need," and ended with, "You owe." I blocked her. A month later, Ethan showed up at my door. I didn't open it. I stood behind the curtain and watched him leave with his head hung low. I wasn't cruel. I was done. These days, I spend mornings in my garden, afternoons reading mystery novels, and evenings knitting warm scarves for charity. My laughter has returned. My peace has returned. And so has my dignity. Sometimes I think of Ethan, the little boy who once held my hand crossing the street. But that boy grew into a man who forgot who held him when he cried, fed him when he was hungry, and gave up her dreams so he could chase his. I didn't want revenge out of spite. I sought justice out of survival. So when people ask, "Why didn't you give your son half your pension?" I smile and say, because a pension is earned. Respect is earned. And they earned neither.